imagine doing that with a real drive?
Hello, fellow sim racer, Mr. Chris Haye. For your own channel, what are you doing? And are you excited?
I'm pretty excited, but I'm less excited about the fact that you're filming vertically, Paul.
Hello fellow sim racers. If you're subscribed to this channel, there's a near 100% chance that you've either driven the Nordschleife or you would sell your firstborn to get a chance to drive the Nordschleife. I was lucky enough to get a chance to do just that last weekend without having to part company with any family members. And I thought I'd share with you my thoughts on how the green hell compares between racing sims and the real world. While we were in Germany covering the SRO eSport GT series, the RD crew and I got a chance to drive the Nordschleife with an instructor from RSR Events in one of their rather nice Golf Rs. Going off script here, man, that was a great car. 10 out of 10 would hoon again. Anyway, while our time on track was limited, the experiences left some pretty lasting impressions, and I thought the contrast between how the ring feels in a sim and in real life would make for an interesting topic for a video. So here we are. Just a quick disclaimer, this video is in no way instructional and shouldn't really be taken all that seriously. We had very limited time in the car, so in the scheme of things, I took things pretty gently. So let's get into it with the most important point. The experience was incredibly fun, maybe even the best thing I've ever done. No matter what pace you drive at, you're going to have the time of your life. I took it pretty steadily to start with and built up pace throughout the session, which seemed like a good choice from where I was sitting. If you've seen onboards from tourist laps, then you'll know that traffic can be an issue. But hot lapping in a sim does little to prepare you for how quickly the ring veterans appear behind you, seemingly from nowhere. The Nordschleife is tight, twisty in places, and has frankly insane elevation changes, so cars appear from behind you without warning, and in all honesty, it can be pretty intimidating. But if you behave predictably and follow the rules, all should be well. I've driven this circuit more times than I can count in the virtual world, but on the real circuit I had a few occasions where I wanted to turn the car in earlier than I know I should do. I suspect this is psychological. This is a circuit that requires you to point the nose of the car towards the barrier, brake and then turn in on many occasions, and the self-preservation instinct can really tell you that's a bad idea, at least until you realise that's what's happening anyway. Take Adenauer Forst as an example, a classic section where you have to aim the car at the barrier while braking. Without the instructor reminding me to point the car at the yellow graffiti, I would have probably turned in much earlier. This one should be fairly self-evident, but the ring is essentially 20 kilometers of bumps, dips and compressions strung together by the occasional bit of smooth tarmac. Parts of the circuit that are complete non-events in even the most accurate laser-scanned racing track are, well, pretty entertaining in the real world. But I think most sim racers expect that, which, well, it can only be a good thing. If you've driven the Nordschleife in a racing sim, then you'll know that the curbs are pretty deadly. But you'll likely still push the limits with them anyway because, well, bravery is easy to come by when you have a reset button. But in the real world, those curbs are pretty serious. Touching one of the high curbs, and boy are they taller than you think, will at best absolutely ruin a wheel, and worst case scenario, well, that doesn't bear thinking about. People talk about how steep the Eau Rouge Radillon complex is at Spa, but nothing really prepares you for seeing it in person. And the same goes for the ring. You know it's going to be steep, but going up the hill to Flugplatz or diving down into the foxhole is really very different experience in the real world that sim racing, it just doesn't prepare you for. Here's something that really caught me out. The Nordschleife really messes with your perception of speed. You have a circuit that has long, sweeping fast sections that are linked by slow, complex technical corners. And for a first timer, I was really surprised by just how slow some of those corners appear to be. Perhaps this is something that's unique to road cars on normal tyres, which are generally much better in a straight line than they are into the corners. But again, this is something that sim racing didn't really prepare me for. All that being said, the perception of speed is perhaps one of sim racing's biggest weaknesses. Okay, so this is a bit of a silly one, but when I drove the ring I felt entirely comfortable, but being in the back of the car while other people drove was pretty, tense. The Carousel is one of those corners that's known worldwide and even outside of motorsport circles. Most sim racers don't find it a particularly challenging corner, but what surprised me about my drive around the ring was just how much easier it is in real life than it is in a racing sim. And there's a good reason for this. You can look so much further ahead in the real car, which makes finding a line around a long corner like Carousel so much simpler. Sure, triples or VR help a little in this regard, but nothing beats the clarity of real life. I can't tell you how much I recommend driving the ring with a professional in the passenger seat. Because of the cost involved, you're going to have limited time on the track, and you need to make the most of it. Having an instructor meant that I could focus on driving the car with the knowledge that a vastly experienced guy was there to stop me from doing anything stupid. Not only that, but I'm sure I started pushing a lot earlier than I would have if I'd been on my own. Ultimately, having a safe pair of hands in the passenger seat definitely helped me get a lot more out of the all too short experience. So that just about wraps things up here. Before I sign off, I have to say that driving the Nordschleife has to rank amongst the best experiences of my life. I'm not joking when I say I feel like it's changed me. All I can think about is going back and doing it again, and that's not a feeling I've had after any other track day experiences I've had in the past. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would be great if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can see more content like this in the future. So all that's left to say is goodbye, thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.